My name is Amy Nguyen, and my child's name is Avery. She was exposed to alcohol, which occurred when I fell into a depression after discovering my partner was going to leave me as a single mother. Having been exposed to alcohol, Avery could potentially develop fetal alcohol syndrome, which could increase risks of having several physical, facial, and mental deformations. This was a grave concern for me and for Avery's prenatal development. Avery's APGAR score is 6, meaning she requires a bit more assistance than the average child. I do believe that the teratogenic exposure appears to have a developmental impact on her score. Because of the exposure to alcohol, she has been developing slower than other children. At 4.5 months old, she is able to roll from her front to back as well as from side to front and side to back. She is also able to play with the rattle, but if she were to drop it, she would not be able to pick it up. According to Piaget, children learn by adjusting to the world. They do so through assimilation, accommodation, and equilibrium. An example of Piaget's cognitive scheme building of information would be, at age 2, Avery loves playing with wooden blocks and stacks them on top of one another to create tall structures. One day, her parents give her a set of interlocking blocks, similar to Legos, where you have to attach the blocks to build them higher. She assimilates the new blocks into her existing scheme for building, treating them as if they were used the same as her wooden blocks. However, she soon realizes that they are different and do not stack as neatly because they have different edges and different textures. Avery begins to adjust her interpretation of the blocks by accommodating the new set of toys and starts experimenting, thus restoring cognitive equilibrium. As children continue to develop their fine motor skills, they go through stages including scribbles, first representational forms, and more realistic drawings. In the art piece presented first, it is evident that Avery is at the stage of more realistic drawings, considering she included details such as eyes, a mouth, fingers, as well as other details, like the tree, the grass, and the sun. She is approximately 5-6 years old when she completed this drawing. In comparison, the second art piece is definitely more advanced. It remains in the more realistic category, but is much more detailed and well drawn compared to the other one. Avery is around 11 or 12 years old when she completed this second drawing. In discussing educational philosophies, there are 4 different types of classrooms: the traditional classroom, constructivist, social constructivist, and cooperative learning. Each vary in teaching methodology, but Avery is going to be placed in a social constructivist classroom. As a child born with fetal alcohol syndrome, she has undergone some mental and physical deformities, requiring her extra aid in social and cognitive development. In a social constructivist classroom, she will better learn collaboration between teachers and other students, and will be encouraged to expand her own personal ideas. Erikson's theory of psychosocial development emphasizes that the ego makes a positive contribution to development. He calls the psychological conflict of adolescence identity versus role confusion, and states that during this stage, adolescents need to develop a sense of self and personal identity. Avery is now grown up and is away at college. However, she feels very lost and unmotivated in pursuing her goals and completing her coursework. She sends a postcard describing how she is overwhelmed with college and is indifferent about passing or failing, which displays clear identity diffusion. However, several months pass and she discusses joining clubs and internships and how she feels like herself once again. She is now determined to get herself back on track and on her feet and is excited for her uncertain future, depicting identity achievement. The 7 fun facts describe her growing processes. For example, she experienced a change in her feelings and has her first crush at age 10. As she grows a bit older and is exposed to social media, Avery is blinded by posts about disordered eating and toxic diet fads, but remains uninterested in this content. She is around 14 or 15. As she continues growing up and makes friends of different ethnic backgrounds, she starts observing different household structures and learns more values from her subculture and dominant culture. The report card presents a summary of her human development, and attached is a simulated picture of Avery at 15 years old. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed my presentation.